Hi. Today I thought I would talk about NG tubes. NG tubes are nasogastric tubes. They are a tube that goes from your nose through your esophagus and down to your stomach. They are used to help give you medicine, give you fluids, or even help provide you with the nutrients that you need if you're unable to eat. This prep made me think a little bit because quite honestly, in the 5 years that I've done this, it's not often that I will go into a lot of heavy prep with a child about an NG tube because I think it causes a lot more anxiety. Me as an adult, if you were telling me half hour ahead of time that I was going to be getting an NG tube, I would say, no thank you. This is one that I personally don't love. I think it's difficult to prepare a child for this because you can understand it. It's not hard to prep for. I mean, like I just said, it's a tube that goes from your nose down your throat and into your stomach. And that's about it. I mean, I will usually bring this in closer to when we're about to get started to do this procedure because again, I don't want a child to have to think about this for very long. Like I said, as an adult, if you were to tell me you were going to stick this tube down my nose and into my stomach, I would say, no thank you. This is what an NG tube looks like. Sometimes after the procedure, we might do some medical play just to be able to kind of process it if a child is younger and could benefit from that. For a child that's older, they might be more worried about their appearance, how this is gonna look, because once this is down their throat and into their stomach, the remainder of it will be outside of their face. So what they'll use is, I do call this, this is called Tegaderm at the hospital, but we call it window tape because it looks like if a window was tape, it would look like this. So this is window tape, see-through tape, and they'll just put this gently over the child's face to help hold that tube in place so it doesn't move in their nose. And then they might have to use some extra tape as well. So when we're playing kind of with all of the equipment and stuff, maybe afterward, I can go into a little bit more detail if they'd like. But my job usually for the procedure is the cheerleader and the support, and being able to tell them everything that's happening. Just talking about this makes my nose itch. But once the tube goes down their nose, the best thing that the child can do is drink water if they're able to. So taking little sips of water helps guide that tube down their throat and into their stomach. Not every kid does that. They may be prepped for it ahead of time and say, look, this is your job. This is something you can do to help it, but it's too uncomfortable. It's just a weird sensation. Something's going up your nose and down your throat and into your stomach. So just being that cheerleader and the support person, being next to them. If you've read my blog, I will write up here what the actual blog title is called, so if you'd like to go back, you can read it. But I was terrified of NG tube placements when I was in my practicum, and I flat out told my supervisor, like, I don't think I'm cut out for this job. Like, this makes me uncomfortable being the person to watch this. I don't think I can do this job. And she had told me something in my practicum that I took with me throughout my internship and throughout my job. And she said, when you're just observing somebody in an uncomfortable or a painful situation, that's a hard role to be in. But when you're the person that's supporting the child, your whole mentality changes. And once I was in my internship and I was the one being the cheerleader and being the support person and helping to guide them through this, all of it changed. I've never once gone white for an NG tube placement. I mean, in my practicum, I thought I was gonna pass out multiple times when I would see an NG tube. I was like, just the way that the child would respond to it, because for those brief, 2 minutes that they're working on getting this tube in the right place, it's uncomfortable to watch somebody be uncomfortable and upset. So yeah, the majority of my job is just helping to make the process go as smoothly as possible. And then afterwards, talking about the uncomfortableness that they might feel like there is something still very obviously in their nose. And I talk about how our body is really, really good at recognizing when things are foreign in our body, especially for girls. I will talk about the aspect of like if they have their ears pierced, I'll say, you know, when you have your ears pierced and you're wearing earrings, sometimes you might lay down to take a nap because you'll forget that you're wearing your earrings. So our body is really good at things that are through our body, recognizing like, this is something safe, I'm okay with having this in me, and eventually they shouldn't feel it as much, or it shouldn't be as uncomfortable as it was in the beginning. It will become more comfortable. And so that's what I just give them, something to look forward to, that hopefully within the next half hour or hour, the uncomfortableness will subside and your body will just start to realize that this is hanging out for a little bit. And then usually for that half hour or hour, I might stay in the room and help provide distraction for them, whether that be a video game or a coloring book or something like to keep their hands busy, like Play-Doh or slime or something to help them pass that time, so that eventually when the hour is up, they didn't really notice the uncomfortableness. And I think that's our job as child life specialists. I think our job is to be there for the uncomfortable and to help them get through that and process that as best as they possibly can with their little children minds. So I hope that that was helpful, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.